and Black Power comrades. I'm Chief Anco. I'm Chief of the Western Region and leader of the Power Committee for Hammer City, and I represent the Mapuche Nation. But yeah, let me just dive in to let y'all know what the Power Team's been doing and what's been tasked with. So the Power Team's central task right now has been to make sure all functions with Hammer abide to self-determination and reconnection to the land. Hammer City is not going to be replicating colonial consumption of power at the expense of the planet. So in Hammer City, you ain't gonna see us like destroying massive amounts of trees. You ain't gonna see us like destroying natural wildlife. You're not gonna see us using oil, gasoline from the state. Like that's all stuff we want to move away from. And it's really important that this is considered, as oil and gas companies currently are some of the most responsible for the destruction of the planet going back to colonial times. And that's always like a force that's presented to us as colonized people. We have to deal with the pollution that comes from that. And so it's really important that Hammer City isn't just producing power, but is also helping heal the planet. Is that our energy consumption within Hammer City has to be based upon need and not excess consumption, as all of us participate in currently. But just to get into a little bit more specifics, Hammer City is going to be primarily powered by solar power. And the reason why solar power was so important to go with is it allows self-determination and control over all power systems within Hammer City. You know, like there was the option, like we could have fucking excuse me, we could have attached onto like the state grid already. But with that comes like the state being able to cut off our power at any time, which completely leaves us stranded. It also doesn't give us any ability to keep sight over our power consumption and making sure that it's at a healthy level. But top of solar power allowing self-determination, the land liberators and as well as like the indigenous oversight will always be looking at the power consumption and will be able to immediately address overconsumption, underconsumption, or if we need to reallot our power in a way that's more helpful and rehabilitating to the earth. In Hammer City, there's going to be absolutely no power shutoffs because you couldn't pay a bill because there's going to be no power bill. These solar panels are ours as a community. It is our duty to be taking care of them. It's our duty to expand and make sure that all of our needs are taken care of. And so another thing on this is that the solar panels are going to be immediately within the community on units. And this allows immediate protection from the destruction of our solar panels. Is that if I remember correctly, in February, the US government attacked a hydroelectric dam in Venezuela to prevent growth within Venezuela. And like, that's something that as we move forward, we gotta be prepped for. And having our solar panel system integrated within the city will allow us to have constant monitoring of it, that if anyone's fucking with the solar panels, you're fucking with the entire community. And then on top of that, there's another aspect of the power, and that's really supplementary power. Is that solar power has like at times, like it can be cloudy or long storms. You know, we never really know what we're going to go up against with climate change and the state. And so it's important for us to also be looking for alternative ways of energy, and those being hydropower, biofuel, aka algae, and human waste. So first, biofuel and research into biofuel has begun. So algae can be broken down into a very similar chemical to diesel. And right now the research is really focusing on scale. Is that if we can scale this and we can get the team going, like we can have our own algae production and totally move away from oil and diesel and gasoline from the state, and we can be produce our own without any emissions and destructions to the planet. Next is the human waste. Is that human waste in capitalist societies is used to always poison the land, and that is always at the forefront for Black and colonized people. They poison our water with waste, they poison our land with waste, and the air with waste. However, Black and colonized civilizations and communities have almost always found a way to handle human waste in a way that is in balance with the earth. And that is the direction that we are going. And so we are going to be constructing biofuel toilets that will be installed within the community to turn human waste into a fertilizer, as well as adding food waste. On top of that, there's a byproduct of methane, which can be used to funnel the gas into the homes for gas power. And that way the community is consistently using that. Like, we're not tapping into fracking, we're not tapping into those oil companies. This is all self-determined, and we're totally able to control what all of this looks like. But ultimately, the Power Committee is tasked with supplying the demands of the colonized proletariat as the world ventures in deeper crisis. Although I would like to emphasize that myself and all of those within the committee and campaigns don't have these bourgeois qualifications to be doing this. All of us are determined revolutionaries willing to do what's needed for our people, and this time it included picking up quite a few books about electricity and power and learning that. So we can really give what our people need, that we can live up to the expectations our people need. And so if you're thinking about joining campaigns, please join campaigns. The #1 qualification is just dedication. It's a lot of work, but really you don't need no degrees, don't need none of that. We just need you to be determined to see the creation of Hammer City and the liberation for our people. And I would just like to close this out. Our people are fully capable of solving the power crisis that is happening globally. So again, don't hesitate to hit up campaigns and join. With that, I'm going to close it out, land back, and open it up for questions.
Land back. Just a revolutionary salute to y'all. Like, what the hell? I can't even imagine sitting up here reading about electricity. I would be so bored, but y'all did it for the revolution, and that's on what, period. Thank you. So I do have a question though. How do you, with the algae, like, do y'all have, like, do you have to collect it or what?
Yeah, so what that would look like is if the land that we has like a pond, like ponds are ideal for algae to be growing in, we'd use that and maintain and help grow the algae and produce that. But how to turn algae into almost diesel is through a mechanical process of just smashing algae. The algae has a ton of oil within it, and if we can scale